In the midst of a torrential downpour that blanketed the fields and winds so strong they could barely obscure the road, the woman driving suddenly noticed a small deer lying motionless in the waterlogged grass. She immediately stopped the car, pushed open the door, and rushed out without even putting on her raincoat. She wrapped her arms around the animal, hugged it tightly, then bent down and ran against the wind back to the car, both of them soaking wet. The deer was freezing, its eyes glazed over, so weak that it had almost no strength left to resist. The girl used a face mask to cover the animal's eyes, to help it feel less scared and panicked. Then she dried its soaking wet fur and laid it down neatly on the warm floor of the car. Upon arriving home, the girl wrapped the deer in a thick blanket. The warmth gradually spread, causing the animal to stop trembling, stretch its legs, and fall asleep right there on the soft mattress. When the deer woke up, the girl had prepared a delicious meal with chopped green vegetables. The animal devoured the food right out of her hand, its ears perked up in delight. The husband generously shared a few pieces of his favorite snack with the deer, and the fawn nuzzled its nose against them, sniffing curiously. A few days later, the storm passed and the animal regained its usual agility. It ran and jumped all over the house, becoming so close to the family dog that the two were inseparable all day long. Seeing the deer healthy again, the couple understood that it was time to return it to where it belonged. They led the animal to the edge of the woods behind the house and gently laid it down on the wide lawn. But the deer didn't run away. It just looked around in amazement before turning back and following their every step. It trailed behind for a very long distance, only disappearing behind the trees much later. The next morning, the whole family was stunned to see the deer standing in the garden, raising its head and looking towards the window. Even more surprisingly, this time it didn't come alone, but was accompanied by its mother deer. Since then, the mother and daughter have visited every few days, sometimes grazing on the grass at the edge of the garden, other times strolling leisurely around the yard. Seeing this, the couple built a small shelter on the porch so they would have a place to take refuge whenever the wind picked up. Every day, they would prepare a basin of clean water along with some suitable food as a welcome for their two special guests. This story is not just about rescuing a small life, but also proof that kindness is sometimes repaid in incredibly beautiful and unexpected ways.